morning. Please excuse my sleepy face. It's already a bit late, but today I'm going to take you with me on a what I eat in a day. And I think this is going to be one of the few videos on my channel where I'm just not in the house the whole day. I also want to take the opportunity with this video to talk about something that's been requested, I think, since the beginning of my channel, but that I actually never talked about, which is intuitive eating. I'm an intuitive eater, have been for most of my life, so I wanted to talk about that, talk a little bit about what people mean when they talk about intuitive eating, and try and show you what it looks like throughout the day, and try to explain a little bit about my thought process behind choosing what to eat and when to eat, based on what my body tells me and based on how the day goes, because those factors influence all of these things. Today, for example, it's already a bit late, therefore I'm probably going to have a little bit of a lighter breakfast than I normally would. I prepared a chia pudding that I'm going to put together in a second, and then I also need to leave the house pretty early to make it in time for a picnic, which we have this afternoon. So I'll also probably have a lighter lunch than I would normally have, because I'll be eating throughout the afternoon at the picnic. I'm going to grab some fruits, maybe some snacks. I'm sure other people are going to bring other stuff, so I definitely don't want to be stuffed when I get to the picnic and then someone has like a cheesecake and I cannot be full if there's cheesecake. So yeah, let me grab the chia pudding. So I just had a shower and got dressed. I'm going to get ready before it's late. So what do people mean when they talk about intuitive eating? I think in the last years on YouTube, many people had been using the term intuitive eating just to say that they ate whatever they wanted. But if you hear a dietitian talk about intuitive eating, there's a specific definition and principles that go into it. The idea of intuitive eating goes back maybe to the 70s, but intuitive eating as a term was only coined in 1995, so around 30 years ago, when a book called The Intuitive Eating Book was published. Please don't judge my makeup skills. I never claimed to be a makeup guru. Intuitive eating defends that we're all born intuitive eaters, but as we grow up, we learn from influences from our friends and family, from diet culture, to think about food in a way that is not intuitive. So the book outlines a number of principles. They're the intuitive eating principles, which basically comprise of rejecting diet culture, not fearing foods, unlearning that there are good foods or bad foods, that there are foods you should have and foods you shouldn't have, listening to your body, respecting your hunger cues, understanding when you feel satisfied. So as much as you should eat when you feel hungry, you should also stop eating when you feel full. And so these principles are basically what dietitians refer to when they talk about intuitive eating. It's not just eating whatever, like everything you have in front of you. It's about respecting the needs of your body, understanding when you're eating because you're hungry, or if you're just eating because you're trying to appease an emotional response, not turning to food when you feel stressed. So there's a lot that goes into it, but basically it's not counting calories, not tracking macronutrients. Intuitive eating is not for everyone. There were studies done that associated intuitive eating with better self-esteem and better well-being and maintaining weight, but not necessarily losing weight, because intuitive eating is not a diet. Obviously, if someone suffers from a binge eating disorder or they're morbidly obese, you're not going to recommend that they turn to intuitive eating, because obviously that's only going to exacerbate their issue. Oh my god, I can't speak and think. If you're an athlete and you need to track your calorie intake or your macronutrients, then obviously you're not eating intuitively, because you're not trusting your body to choose the quantity and the type of foods you're eating, you're using other methods to determine that, so that's not intuitive eating. So at this stage in my life, and most of my life, I consider that I have been intuitive eating. There's been times where I have tracked calories and macronutrients, but that was mainly when I felt that I was not eating properly. Something that has happened mostly during the winter sometimes is, as I like to say, I turn into the potato diet. Now, there's nothing against potatoes, but what happens during the winter months if I get too busy, too stressed, it's cold, start staying inside more, it's darker outside, I start to turn to meals that are basically very carb heavy and sometimes in portions that are a bit larger than I normally would have. So I'll start having lots of curries, lots of mashed potatoes with this and that, and I start neglecting some vegetables. When that happens, I have tracked my calories from time to time for short periods of time to try and understand what my diet is like, and then I try to incorporate more vegetables into my diet and try to pick smaller bowls. But anyway, most of my diet is pretty much just trusting what my body wants to eat when it wants to eat. I do not put any limits to snacks or sweets, and as a result, I don't crave salty or sweet snacks all that often. I rarely have lots of sweets in the house. I do buy desserts because I like to have something sweet after a meal. But if I have a craving on a Wednesday night, I will go on purpose and buy Kinder Bueno or a chocolate bar or whatever satisfies the hunger I have at the moment. I just don't have the habit of buying lots of snacks to have at home because I don't tend to snack a lot, but I definitely do not put any limits to what my body asks me. There are no bad foods. The only foods you should not eat is foods that are poisons, that have salmonella. Any other foods, I give myself 100% permission to have, as long as it's in moderation. But because I'm used to eating like this for so long, if I overeat on a day, I know my body's going to self-regulate on the days afterwards. So I just trust my body to do what it feels like it needs to do. Of course, as I said, it's not a out-of-the-box solution for everyone, but if you feel like you're having issues with your appetite, then you should check with a registered dietitian and they should try and help you regulate that. And now that is time to make lunch. So I'm going to make a fried rice type of situation with egg. I'm going to link the recipes in the description box below. They're all probably from the same lady because I'm obsessed with her recipes. I'm going to use some frozen vegetables for convenience and because it's quicker. And yeah, I don't know what time it is, but I feel like I'm late. So I'm going to try and make it quick, and I'm not really hungry at the moment, but I definitely will not leave the house without eating anything. So let's crack on. Even if it's sunny in London, we always pack an umbrella. close to 7 o'clock now. Obviously, I'm not going to make dinner just yet because I've been snacking all afternoon, but I'll probably make dinner around 8 so it doesn't get too late either. Have to do laundry, which not very glamorous, but it needs to be done. Not too long ago, I posted on my community tab on my channel asking you ideas of anything you would like to see on the channel in the next month. And one of you recommended that I made a video about the differences between growing up in the US and in Europe as a child in terms of what we are fed and what we eat. And I think that would be such an interesting video. I really want to do it. The only problem is I don't know anyone who's grown up in the US as a child that I can speak to for information for that video. So if any of you watching has grown up in the US as a child and you would like to speak to me for a video, you don't need to show your face, we don't need to reveal your identity. If you would like to share your experience, feel free to send me a message on Instagram or an email, and I'll be more than happy to chat and make this because I think it would be so interesting. Yeah, but for now I think I'll just vegetate for a little bit, so I'll see you at dinner time. Back in my comfy clothes. Gosh, this lighting is awful. I'm so sleepy. Now at night, I'm feeling like having a bit more of a substantial meal, something warm, something carby, something with a little kick. So I'm going to make a spicy creamy pasta. I'm going to link the recipe in the description again, probably from the same lady that I took the recipe from lunch as well. Yeah, so I'm going to spend some time grating cheese and then making the pasta and eating. Then without me realizing, my camera mic stopped picking up audio. So basically what I'm saying here is that I was very hot, I think from the spice in the pasta. So I was feeling like having a chocolate dessert, but because of the warmth, I decided to have a plum instead. Luckily, I was really tired and I just babbled a bunch of nonsense. Ultimately, just let me know if there's any other topics you would like me to cover or talk about in future videos. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!